In this problem, we're given three tables of data for three different functions, f, g, and h, and we're given that the function h, that would be represented by this table, was found by forming the composite function f of g of x. The question that we're asked is to find n. So the first thing to do is to find n in one of the charts. For this problem, it's right here. So with function notation, the notation f of x means that x, that would be the numbers in this column, represent the input into the function f, and the entire notation f of x, that would be the numbers in this column, represent the output. And then of course the same thing goes with the rest of the tables of data. Here's my input column, here's my output column. Now having said that, I need to rewrite the question find n in a way that resembles the given information. So since n is the output of the function f when the input is 5, by definition, the directions to find n would be equivalent to finding the output of f when the input is 5. And the notation for finding the output of f when the input is 5 would be to find f of 5. So the first step is to rewrite the question find n in a way that allows me to make use of the given information. To make things clear, I will line the question up now with the given information. If my job is to find f of 5 and I'm to make use of the definition of h of x, simply lining things up, I notice to find f of 5, the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I have a 5 here in the parentheses where there's currently a g of x. So remember that g of x is the notation for the output of g, and now I know we're looking for when the output of g would become the number 5, just lining things up. If I can find the x value that makes the output of g 5, then this notation will read f of 5 and I'll be able to continue the problem. So now I'm going to look at the chart and find out when the output of g would be 5. Remember, it's the second column, g of x, that represents the output of g. So looking down the output column to figure out when the output of g is 5, I find 5 right here. The output of g will be 5 only if you replace x with 11. But the way function notation goes, if I replace this x value here with 11, I will have to replace this x value with 11, and that's the key to doing the problem. So let me back up and do that. So now I'm going to do that to show you that things will work out. All I did was copy the given information at the beginning of the problem. Now that I know things will work out if I replace x with 11, replacing both x's with 11 and working on both sides of the equation, you'll see that I get the answer. On the left-hand side, just let me, for one more step, copy h of 11. On the right-hand side, I find that g of 11, as we said before, if the input of g is 11, the output will be 5. That means that g of 11 is 5, and in math when two things are equal, one thing can be replaced with the other, so I will replace the notation g of 11 with the number 5, and if I was to do that and copy the rest of the notation, the parentheses and the letter f, I almost have the answer to my question. The question is to find f of 5, and I've determined now that f of 5 is the same as h of 11. So now I need only look at the chart for h and figure out the output of h when the input is 11. Here's the input column into h. If the input to h is 11, the chart says that the output will be 5. So since h of 11 is 5, I can replace h of 11 with the number 5, copy the right-hand side of my equation, and have found that f of 5 is simply 5. Remember that f of 5 was just another way of asking the question, find n. Finding f of 5 is the same thing as finding n. So it turns out, for this problem, the value of n is 5.